So we have come to the last part, the final part of this particular topic. So, and we're going to focus briefly on referencing. So, this is the final section of your write-up, and according to the standard that is accepted for us in our university, you use the APA format. So you must find out what is specified for your school or your faculty or your department, and you follow that. There will be a whole session where we're going to discuss fully about writing references and doing your citation. But this is just to present to you how you do citation. Is important. If you have a book, the publisher must be stated, the place where it was published, the author's name. We usually use the surname or the last name. Okay, the first name is usually abbreviated. You have the written, so David Dooley, you have D representing the initials. Okay, then you have the year in bracket depending on which format you're following, the title, okay, the edition. That is if you have a book that has a number of editions. Then if you have a journal article that is coming from an online source, you could cite it like this. But this is just an illustration, some illustration examples. We're going to go a little bit more into details later. Now, things you must take note when you're writing your work. Okay, some of the things that I have not mentioned, but they are going to be part of your work. Tables will have captions, and the standard is the captions for the table. This might differ depending on the standard that is being used by other faculties and things like that, different schools. But the standard for our university is that you must have the captions at the top of a table, and for plates and figures, you have the captions at the bottom of each one of them. All these illustrations, make sure that when you put a table, I don't need to go 2-3 pages before I now see a reference to that table in terms of a discussion about that table. When you put a table, very close to it or next to it, there should be an explanation or whatever discussion you want to say or you want to have about that particular table or figures or plates. Don't just drop a table and never talk about it. No, it is essential that the figure, the table, the plate must be referred to in the text and explained. Okay, it's very important. Table, caption at the top, figures and plates, caption at the bottom, and you must place the illustration very close to where you refer to them or where you discuss them. Don't just table drop or figure drop or plates drop. Talk about them. Then when you are numbering them, the rule of thumb is the first table in chapter 1 will be table 1.1. The second figure in chapter 2 will be figure 2.2. And the first table in chapter 3 will be table 3.1, and so on. So the numbering is serially from each of this chapter. Okay, the first table in chapter 1, table 1.1. The first figure in chapter 1, figure 1.1. The first in chapter 1, 1.1. 2.2, the second in chapter 2. That is the sequence it should follow. Remember, simplicity is always very important. Simple and relevant. A table with results comparing crop yield across different communities will be good enough as a title. Okay, so use simple title. Okay, so if I have table 2.1 and I named it an overall result of comparison of crop yield across selected community, that's it's simple. It's clear that I'm presenting an analysis of variance result which shows the comparison of yield across selected communities. So it's straightforward. That is the key. It should be clear what the table is about. When the table is too big, put it in appendix. The table should be able to stay within a page of your work. If it gets too big, put it in the appendix and refer to it. So find a way to either make your table fit within a page, or if that is not possible, put the table in the appendix. If you have a table that has some numbers and then you have a chart that you want to use to illustrate the same result, you cannot have the two of them within the same work. It's either you use the table or you use the chart. You are presenting the same data. It is not appropriate for you to have a table with the same set of numbers and a chart representing the same set of numbers. It's either you pick the chart or you pick the table. You cannot present the two of them. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. Make sure you make attempts on the quiz to test your understanding of the concepts that have been presented. Thank you. Bye bye.